Hi there, it's David Young, the Resourceful Coach, and what we're going to talk a little bit about today is improving your hybrids, getting a little bit more distance, be more consistent, and know that you're getting fully everything from this club. That's the key thing that we're going to look for. So one of the big things people always come to me is say they want more consistency in their shots, and they want to see, ideally, a little bit more distance. So we're going to show you that today and how we can do those two things. Now, consistency for me always starts with what do you want from the club? What are you looking to achieve from it? So I'll just give you some numbers. This is what I'd call a maintainer club. This is a club we want to use on, say, a par 5 to move ourselves up the hole consistently. And if we look at our 3 handicap groups from my 12 shots of golf videos, is we look for around about 200 yards for somebody playing off scratch. For a player playing sort of shooting 80, we're looking for about 170, 175. And about 150 yards if you're looking to play to an 18 handicap, so shooting around 90. Okay, but we always say to you, if you can hit it further, we're never going to stop you doing it. So we're not saying to an 18 handicap golfer who can hit it 170, we now want you to hit it 150. I'd love you to be able to hit it 170, 180, because then there's a chance you can get that handicap down even more. So that's the first thing to understand. Consistently think, what do you want from the shot? That's your starting point. So when you go to the practice ground, especially nowadays, a lot of ranges have these top tracer machines. Look at it, work out what you want to do, go there with an idea and hit some shots. Okay. Now, first thing we've got to make sure is there's a consistent setup. That's the biggest thing for me. And we're going to go through a couple of things in my setup that I see that I find the inconsistency starts straight away. Before you even played the shots, we're not doing it consistently. And the first thing is alignment. For me, I see alignment is a big problem. So when people set up to the shot, if we take a ball here and we're going straight down our practice ground and we have sort of an imaginary line, our second thing we want to do is get our feet running parallel to where we want to go. Okay, everything we're talking about here is being as orthodox as we can be. We're not promoting a draw here, we're not promoting a fade, we are looking to hit the ball pretty straight. If you do happen to hit a tiny draw fade and you're in play, you're doing what you want, that's absolutely fine. Okay, but what we're looking for, if we have our ball straight down towards our target, then from there the feet should run parallel to where you want to go. So I just put a stick down. I never put it directly on my feet, because if I swing, hit the shot and I move it with my feet, I've got to move the stick again. So as long as I've got a little bit of a gap here, straight away what I'm looking for now is a gap that both feet are an equal distance away, and when I make my swing, I'm not going to hit the stick with my feet and I've got to readjust it, because that gets a bit frustrating. Second thing I want to make sure is ball position. Ball position is really important. And what I'm going to get you thinking as we go through this, what we tend to find, and you can take this idea a little bit, a lot of you guys now are using things like 7 woods, 9 woods even your 5 wood is good. Because the ball is on the ground, we always want to hit slightly down on the golf ball. That's really important. What I was taught as a junior golfer, you want to sweep the ball and pick it off the surface. And what I found then, my consistency of strike wasn't great. So I'd play the ball probably too far forward in my stance, and what I'd end up doing as I came in to hit the shot is I'd probably either hit the ground before it or I'd slightly thin it, and I'd never get a consistent strike. So when I play my ball position, okay, I'm going to put this stick in position and then I'm going to turn the other way, is I'll get that there nicely in line with the ball itself. And if we use this stick, just to show you on the camera, I play my hybrids, let's come up here a little bit, if that's a central position there, I just play it just fraction, about ball width ahead of that position. Okay, and what that gives me to feel when I swing in a minute is I'm going to get the ball first, and then if I do take a little bit of a divot, it will be after the ball. So there's our first way of getting consistency. I want to consistently hit the ball first. I don't want to hit the turf first. So I've got an alignment that's going to allow me to swing down the line. I've now got a ball position that allows me to get the ball first. That's the key thing. They're my 2 things that I'm looking for. So let's just hit a couple of shots just to look at those 2 things to begin with. I've got my sticks here. Okay, and there, and then we're going to talk a little bit about power. But there's consistency of setup. Okay, and we're going to hit some shots just feeling that consistency of ball position, alignment. Just check my feet are good. Yep. And then from there, make a swing, and that one's gone nicely down. Now, in relative to where I'm hitting it, this is a January day. It's quite a cold day today. We've got our post down there at 50 yards apart. That's gone probably at 170, okay, which isn't too bad. It's about 2 degrees today. That's all it is, 2 degrees Celsius. so it's not a warm day. I'm probably going to lose about 20 yards because of that. So 190 would be a nice shot in summer. So I'm getting around my number, close to my 200. So that's okay. So again, I'm looking at that, but again, let's get the ball position consistent, alignment consistent. That's good. Let's see if we can do it again. That's good. I'm happy with that. It's on the same line as the previous one. So good. Okay. So we've hit 2 nice shots then. I've just worked simply on this thing, and this is quite an important thing what we're going to say now. Let's get rid of some of that mud off my club. Is when you go to the practice ground, work on 1, maybe 2 things at a time. Don't overdo it. Okay, I'm going to talk about probably about 5 or 6 things today, but you may pinpoint a couple of them and go, oh, I'm doing them, that's good, brilliant. There's a couple of things that I'm not doing so well. I need to make sure that I'm doing them better. Okay, now we're not getting away from our setup, and we come from now, we're going to start talking about power. We're going to start to talk about initially, how do I generate better power from my setup? I'm going to look at 2 things here. Okay, the biggest one I see, the biggest problem, as soon as you say to somebody, I want more power, they grip the club harder. And the problem with golf is a game of speed. And the harder you grip the club, the more you're going to tense the muscles up and they're going to become slower. Okay, so that's quite important to understand. So the phrase I have when I sort of hold a golf club is I want to securely hold the club in my fingers, but I want to feel the wrists and the arms nice and relaxed. I want to feel they're relaxed so I can get a swinging action as I go through. We're going to come to a little bit more power later, and we'll incorporate that idea as we go through. And what I do sometimes is in feeling that, what you've got to understand is your hybrids, your woods are the lightest clubs in your bag. So it's very important to sort of start to feel the weight of that club head. If it feels like just a solid stick in your hand, you're probably gripping it too tight, you're going to lose power. So the area where you want to grip the golf club very much in your fingers, the more you grip it in the fingers, the more you can feel it, and you can control the pressure very easily. If you're very much a sort of a gripper more in the palm of the hand, it becomes a bit clumsy. It's called a golf club, and I think that's a problem. Mentally, we think caveman instincts, it's like we're going to club somebody with it. Grip it lightly. I used to work for Jack Nicklaus golf centres and the Nicholas Flick School, and they said don't think of it as a club. If you thought of it as being important, you'd think of it like an instrument, like a musical instrument. You'd pick it up, you give it a bit more respect. So grip the golf club where you think, yeah, how can I feel what I'm doing? So grip is important. We're going to come to a drill later though to talk about that. Posture, really important. How do I get power? Well, bad posture. I see people stand to the ball like this and they wonder why they're not getting power into the shot. You look at the modern day professional now that we watch on TV, they're athletic. You can be athletic. Get the feeling that when you set up to the ball, your posture should come from your hip joint, should be coming from more this position here, and you're bending over about 30 degrees, that's approximate, to allow your arms to hang. So if they hang, what are they doing? They're relaxing. Okay, that's really important. And this is the next key thing. You can see my legs at the moment quite straight. I then unlock my knees to feel the weight very much towards sort of my front shoelace, the ball of my foot. And again, that makes me athletic to feel that I can move the body freely through the swing. One of the big things I see, and I see it all the time when I used to work at driving range, you'd walk up and down the range and there'd be people advising their friends and they say, bend the knees, you'd see them down like this. You don't see a tour player like this. Okay, you're static, you're stuck. Okay, you want to take away that leg flex, you want to get the posture into a good position, and from there now you've got the chance to accelerate that club because now your body can rotate and give you power. Okay, so again, if we now look at, we've hit on 4 of our key positions in setup. We've talked about now ball position, alignment. We've now talked about a much more athletic posture. Bend from the hip joint first to let the arms hang. Unlock the knees to feel the weight favouring the balls of your feet. You're now athletic. There's a greater chance you can control what you're doing with your body. Now when you grip the club, really important to grip it securely but feel light. So everything's light, okay? There's a word I hear a lot, the word loose. That scares the living daylights out of me. You do not want to grip the golf club loose, because what will happen then is it will probably twist in your hands as you swing, and it will twist as you hit the ball, or you'll panic and grip it tight and then the muscles tighten up. So that's not a good thing. Okay, so now let's hit a couple of balls just with those extra bits we've added. Okay, so I'm sticking to my ball position, and again, setup, you can work on more than 2 things on your setup because you can take your time. Grip pressure might be a little bit more thought. Get the posture right. From there, let's see if we can make a good swing from there. Yeah, that's the best one of the lot so far. And you can see how I can now keep my posture and keep my balance through the shot, which again, the more I keep that consistent, the more then as I feel I'm doing it, we're going to come to a really important thing in a minute, is it feels like you can accelerate the club. It feels like you're more in control of what you're doing, so you can actually accelerate more through it. Okay, let's hit another one. Let's just work on those ideas. Right, just setting up. So, club sitting naturally on the ground, grip, light grip pressure, that posture, ball position, alignment, all good. From there, make the swing. Nice and balanced. I wish I could hit 4 hybrids like that all the time. They're all going down there. So around about that 1, just because I'm loosening up a bit as well, that's probably gone 185, a little bit further, so that would have been over 200 on a nice day. But let's talk about power. We talked about tension and how that creates a problem. So when you grip that club, grip it securely but light. So all the muscles around it are light. But here's another exercise. You guys tend to go out and buy these alignment sticks, and we've used them for their main job to help you set up. But I'm a big believer that your senses are a massive, important part of your shot. And people always pick up and they say, when I hit a good shot, I can hear the sound of it coming off the face. It feels nice. So we're going to talk a little bit about power and generating the energy through the shot. Now, here's the first mental thing I want you to think about. We're going to talk about the mind. How far do you want to hit that ball? That was the very first thing we said. Do you go to that ball with the intention to hit it that far? And it's amazing how many times I come out here with lessons and they'll say, I want to hit my hybrid further. And they stand there and they just go, poof, and it goes about 100 yards. I said, well, how far do you want to hit it? And they go, well, I want to hit it 150 yards. Okay. So you say to them, well, hit it with the intention to hit it 150 yards. Bang, they hit it 150 yards. That's the end of the lesson. I mean, in 1 minute, we're done. So your intention is so important. Go there with an intention to think, this is what I can do. And what we found, there's a few holes here at Corinthians where you're coming out of trees, players now, because their intention is to give it actually a little bit more energy, it's amazing how they are hitting it further without really telling them how to change their swing or do anything. So your intention is your starting point. What do you want? I want 200 yards. I need to swing it with an element to do that. If you're 160 yards, you're 150, it doesn't matter what it is, find your number. Okay, now, once you've got that, we're now going to use our senses with this other alignment stick to generate some extra power. Okay, so pick up the alignment stick just in your right hand. That's all you're going to do to start with, and just swing it. Okay, and you'll hear that swoosh. Now, we want to hear the swoosh do 2 things. We want to hear the swoosh down here where the ball would be. We want to hear it down there. We don't want to hear it here, okay, because we've got rid of all the energy. Okay, if you're somebody who's the swoosh there, by the time you get to the ball, you're slowing up. Okay, the second thing is, as you get into it, get the swoosh louder. Really move it. Get it zipping through there. Boom, get some energy. Now, change the hand. Do it with your left hand. Okay, I know I'm right-handed, and the way I hit the golf ball, amazingly for me, I'll get a bigger swoosh with my right hand. But my left hand, get that energy. And this is the one that makes the difference for me, because I always feel I'm sort of, naturally it feels like maybe I'm controlling it more here, and this one's my power. But it's a two-handed game, so I actually want them both to work together. I want that energy. So again, where's the swoosh? Down there. Can I make it louder? Good. Get that energy. Okay? That's the key thing. Now, the good thing is you do that, as I've done that probably overall about a dozen times there. It's amazing now how straight, because of that swoosh, you go, oh, power. And you go to the next ball and now go with that intention to think that's the energy that I'm going to create. So I've got my setup correct from there, and now think, let's hear that swoosh down at the bottom. Now, I'm not going to lie here. I mean, that's gone a bit further, but it did feel slightly out of control, okay? But I'm going to go with that, because I think what will happen is, as I get used to it, it will start to sort of even itself out. But that felt like, because of the sort of the adrenaline going with the swoosh, there was definitely more power there. All right, I lost it a little bit to the right, but I'm going to go with it again. I'm going to trust my technique to see if that swoosh, I can get more power. Right, that was lovely. All right, so that's flown away lovely. Let's see if we got a little bit more distance. Tiny bit more. Okay, I'd say we gained a little bit there. Now, this is what you've got to do. You've now got to put these things together, because again, what I'm starting to feel, because I'm getting a little bit more aggressive, what am I doing with my hands? They're starting to grip a bit tighter. So I think that's why it feels a little bit out of control to me. So now what I want to do is just get that feeling of the lighter pressure, get that swoosh down at the bottom, and now let's get that set up right. So ball position, a ball width ahead of center, my alignment is square, my grip is now secure but light, my posture feels good. Now let's commit to that swoosh for energy. That's the one I want. That's the best shot of the lot. That's going to land down by the 200-yard marker. Yep. So I gained probably about 10 yards there. But that was a little bit more down to my attitude. All of a sudden I got over the ball and it was like, give it a go. Give it a go. Don't try and hold back too much. If you want something, go for it. That's the key thing. And you may find you might be a little bit out of control to start with. Rein it in for a little bit. And then come back out with the stick and have another go. And then see where you go. And it's a bit like what we saw Bryson DeChambeau do when COVID was here, and he was bulking up and he was generating power and power. What he's done, he could hit it 400 yards nearly. But he's realised he was a little bit out of control. So he's reined it back in now. He still can hit it 340. But that's enough for what he needs to do on a golf course to do what he wants to do. So you may find you push yourself a little bit. You might lose a little bit of control to start with. Just rein it in a bit. And then go again. Do another practice next week. Same drill. Give it a go. So last one. So the biggest thing I felt, my grip pressure got tighter when I got the adrenaline going. So I've lightened that grip pressure. Secure but light. And now let's see if we can get that swoosh down at the bottom. Yeah, like those last two. And it's amazing how much more positive you get when you do something like that. You get that sort of, go for it. Give it a go. All right? That's the key thing that we're looking for. So we're talking about longer, straighter hybrids. And you can take this idea into your fairway woods. So your 7 woods, your 9 woods, your 5 woods, any of your hybrids. Get the feeling with that. For me, when I'm in that mindset, it makes such a difference to my game. I went from around about 170 first ball to 200 last ball. Okay, and this video is just constantly run, so I don't know how long it is, probably about 10-12 minutes. It's just run on and on and on. So you've seen me hit probably about 10 balls within that time. Okay, but I like that drill. That works for me to feel like I'm getting some energy. So if we break it down, what are our fundamentals that we need to do? Get your alignment neutral. We're talking about a straight shot here. So I was parallel to where I wanted to go. My ball position with my hybrid was just a ball width forward of center. So it feels like I'm going to get ball, and then if anything, the turf after the ball. I'm not trying to pick it off the surface. I'm letting the club come down. I see far too many people topping their hybrids along the fairway. Let it reach the bottom of the ball. Grip pressure, really important. Don't grip that club like it's the last club in the world. Don't strangle it. Grip it securely, but feel the muscles, the arms, the wrists nice and relaxed so they can swing with energy. And we created a put my teeth in it. We created a posture here which leant over through the hip joint to get the arms hanging, and then my knees unlocked to feel the weight favouring the balls of my feet. Again, I'm athletic. All right, we're not running around like a game of tennis, but we still want to be athletic. Watch the top players. Look how athletic they are. Go to where you feel comfortable to get that energy. Okay, then it was the swoosh. Then it was that feeling of getting that energy down at the bottom with the alignment stick. And find what happens here. As I said, for me, I felt those first couple of balls, which I lost a little bit out to the right, I started to grip the club tighter because, as I said, the adrenaline was going and I was trying to do more. So I learned very quickly, the balls went there. Okay, just soften that a little bit, but still maintain that energy through the ball. And the difference was it went from 170 there to around about 195, 200 yard carry. Okay, and that's a cold day today, so I know in the summer that's a 220 shot. Really happy with that practice today. I hope you've enjoyed that video today. It's all about getting a little bit more consistency, a little bit more power into your hybrids, and as I said, your fairway woods. If you do it, go to the practice ground. It might take you 3 or 4 practices to get it, but go there, have a go with your alignment stick, hear that swoosh, hear the energy at the right place, at the bottom of that arc, and you're going to have a lot more fun. If you have enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends, and press that little bell for notifications. We get a video out every Tuesday and Friday for you to look at.